Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Dychronic, your host on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the top stuff you need to get before next season. So this video is going to go over everything that I highly recommend you get before next season, because some things are going to be sunsetting, some things are just going to be content vaulted, some things are just not going to be available as the season system works. And this is going to be the list of my favorite options out of the slew of thousands of different weapons, activities, and things you can do. These are going to be the most important in my opinion. Moving on, let's go ahead and get started with the weapons. Now there's a number of different weapons available this season that are not going to be available next season, including Umbral Engrams stuff, exotic weapons from raids, exotic quests. Let's talk about it, starting up with the Umbral Engrams. Firstly, we have the Breachlight, a 2-burst aggressive frame kinetic sidearm that in my opinion is like number 2 or number 3 in the game for PvE. This thing has incredible DPS, great sets of perks, a decent sunset at 1260, meaning that it will work next season, and it just has been tearing it up. If you haven't used it, get it, it's really good. Next up, we have the 7 Serif CQC-12 shotgun. Now this came out in Season of Worthy, so I believe it's a 1310 sunset, which is really good, and in my opinion, it is the best legendary PvE shotgun in the game. If you like Ikelo's shotgun, they both have solar damage, they both have trench barrel, but the 7 Serif CQC-12 also has auto-loading and assault mag. If you don't know, assault mag increases the RPM, and auto-loading means you don't have to reload, which is the biggest issue with a lot of special ammo shotguns. And in general, I like auto-loading on everything. From my data, I found that it does better DPS and better total ammo damage, and it's very available from the Umbral Engram. Next up, we have the Nong Hunger, a 600 RPM energy auto rifle that has been tearing it up in the Crucible. If you've played a game of Crucible this season, you've probably been killed by this weapon. It is stable, has good range, good handling, great sets of perks, and great availability from the Umbral Engram. And on top of that, it's also good for PvE, especially if next season has some rifle-based mods, it's still going to be really good. After that, we have the Cold Denial. It's going to be the aggressive frame 340 kinetic pulse rifle. Oftentimes, I don't really like this kind of pulse rifle, but in the Crucible, they have made it a little bit easier to get those 2-shot kills, and if you get multi-kill clip or high energy fire or anything that'll slightly increase your damage, the 2-shot kills or the 2-burst kills are going to be even easier. And they've really become really saucy at good ranges, and it's really one of those high skill ceiling, high skill floor weapons that you just need to try out. After that, we have the Falling Guillotine, an incredible high DPS PvE sword. You get yourself the Relentless Whirlwind Jagged Swordsman Guard, you get the best possible DPS in the game right next to the adaptive frame swords, which are also really good. And I highly recommend you just get a good sword, because a lot of DPS you need swords for. Moving out of the Umbral Engrams, let's talk about a few other things, including the Beloved. Obviously, the Beloved is going to be sunset at 1060, but for regular PvP, which is probably going to be playing most of the time, you're going to find incredible efficacy for the rest of time. This thing has insane aim assistance for a 90 RPM sniper. It has quick draw and snapshot, incredible sets of perks, and right now incredible availability from the Menagerie, which is not going to be around for very long. So you need to get yourself a Beloved, even though it's sunsetting. Is still going to be great in regular PvP. Up next, we have the Anarchy, which is going to be the Scourge of the Past raid exotic. A lot of those raids, including Leviathan, Spire Stars, Scourge of the Past, those things are going to be going away next season, content vaulted, so that we have more space for Destiny 2, and the Anarchy is one of those exotics that's probably going to get thrown into some random pool. You probably owe it yourself to get one, and it is as easier than it ever has been to get one. Now, what's so amazing about the Anarchy is going to be the total ammo damage. At any point, if you need total ammo damage, for example, Grandmaster Nightfalls, Prophecy Dungeon, just dungeons in general, the total ammo damage of Anarchy is really unrivaled and oftentimes just the best option. After that, we have the Sleeper Simulant, a weapon that it's not really that popular in the community. It's one of those things that I think is really nice. It's not in the top 10 for DPS, but it is right under that top 10 for DPS, total ammo damage, and it's also really easy to use, on top of the fact that the Catalyst just makes it charge faster, which is also part of the content vaulting and also going away. So we have a lot of lost opportunities here for the Sleeper Simulant. If you want to get it, which I highly recommend you get it, you should definitely get it before the end of the season. Up next, let's talk about the exotic quests. There's a number of exotic quests with a number of different weapons that are going to be really important for you to get before next season that are going to be going away. First up, we have the Traveler's Chosen, an exotic sidearm that came out this season. It allows you to get a number of ability bonuses and recharge rates just by getting kills with the sidearm and then holding down the reload button, which really fits well in a lot of builds. I'll definitely be making a lot of builds which recommend you use this weapon, so just honestly get it, it's really strong. Up next we have the Thorn, an exotic 150 RPM kinetic hand cannon. In my opinion, it's going to be one of the more dominant Crucible items next season, considering that we may not get rifle-based bonuses in the artifact, and the fact that Spare Rations is going to be sunsetting next season, and we're going to be depending on Dire Promise and Thorn. Thorn's going to be very strong, and I highly recommend you get it before the end of the season. I gotta stop saying that. I keep saying it. Similarly, the Last Word and Ace of Spades exotic quests are also going to be going away, and they're great for PvP, and I highly recommend it. Up next, we have the Izanagi's Burden. In my opinion, one of the best PvE specials in the game. Great burst damage, great for Grandmaster Nightfall, it's just great in PvE in general. A little unwieldy considering it's a sniper rifle and you need to be a little bit farther range, but this thing does incredible damage, and I really would recommend you get this one, including you also need to get the Catalyst, which slightly increases the damage that the Honed Edge ×4 does, which is important for it, which is also going away with the Forging. And finally, the Whisper of the Worm, also part of the IO content vaulting thing, so the exotic quest for Whisper of the Worm and the Catalyst for it are going away, and both are very important and very strong weapons. And right here in the middle of the video, just wanted to interrupt the video and talk about how this video, and of course my channel, wouldn't be possible without support from people like Gamersubs. And I know a lot of people will immediately start clicking forward in the video because they don't want to hear about that. That's okay. But if you like what I do here on the channel, listen up, because this is actually really cool. So if you've never heard of Gamersubs, it's basically a powder-based dietary supplement that you mix with water. That's a replacement for Monster or Rockstar energy drinks that has 0 sugar, keto-friendly, a lot healthier. It's 100 grams of green caffeine per serving, and also the serving is around 35 cents per serving, which is obviously a tenth the price of the $3 to $4 Monster cans. So throughout the day, if you just want a little bit of a pick-me-up, or you wanted a little bit more focus in gaming, this really helps you do that. And of course, if you use code Dychronic, you can get 10% off at checkout. On top of the fact, they also have free samples. If you don't know what they're like, you don't know what they taste like, you can get their free samples on their website. So check in the description down below for some Gamersubs. Again, code Dychronic for 10% off anytime you want to order a tub from their website. On top of the fact, you'll be supporting me as a creator. Moving on, let's talk about the story and activities I'd recommend you check out and do before the end of the season. First up, the Menagerie. I've mentioned the Menagerie many times throughout a lot of my videos. There's a number of things that are really, really good, and of course, they're really easy to get, considering that you can choose what weapon drops, you can choose what masterwork it drops with, and always 2 of them drops at the same time, on top of the fact that they oftentimes have a lot of different perks that are really good on them. Things like Outstringer, an amazing high-range 140 kinetic hand cannon. Beloved, an amazing high aim assistance, great perk options, energy sniper rifle for PvP that I mentioned before. You can have Aranto, an amazing high-range fusion rifle for PvP as well. There's Dust Rock in there, there's Last Hope, there's so many great and amazing items, on top of the fact the activity is also a lot of fun. And the other activity I'd recommend are going to be all of the raids. There's a number of raids, including Leviathan, Eater of Worlds, Spire of Stars, Scourge of the Past, and Crown of Sorrows, that are all going to be content vaulted starting next season. If you've never played any of these raids, you owe it to yourself to at least try. Oftentimes, a lot of people are scared by these raids, having to get 6 people together. There's a lot of opportunities for you in LFGs. Personally, if you play on PC, there's a PC LFG Discord that has 250,000 people and plenty of people who are willing to Sherpa you. So go play those raids before the end of the season. They are a lot of fun, and you can also get a lot of good stuff out of them. Up next, for the Seals and Triumphs, there's going to be a number of different seals that you should try to get before the end of the season, including the Arrival Seal, the MMXX Seal, the Conqueror Seal, and the Flawless Seal. Those last 2 are going to be repeated next season probably, but of course you need to get this season's version if you want more seals of the same type. Up next, we also have a bunch of different mods that you probably should get before the end of the season. For example, Lucian Blade, if you want your swords to do more damage just from Charge with Light, which is always a good thing and obviously always recommended. Supercharged, if you want to get a lot more Charge with Light. Some builds you really do need to get more Charge with Light, and that's always a good one to have. And of course, there's a bunch of other weapon kill ones available this season, including Precision Charge, Swift Charge, and Sustained Charge, that allows you to get Charge with Light in a different way from just taking charge, which depend on Orbs of Light, which are not that common in, for example, Crucible. And lastly, Eververse. Obviously, there's a number of Eververse items that are available this season, which will probably not be available directly next season, that might be available over the next few seasons randomly through the Bright Engrams. So if there's something that you want from Eververse, you should check the store every week, or check out my reset videos where I talk about what's in the store, or of course buy them for real silver. It's completely available every season for the full season for real silver. Anyways, that is going to be pretty much it. All the things that I highly recommend you get before next season. Obviously, there was a lot of things on this list. If you're wondering about like a TLDR, the things probably going to take the least amount of time are going to be the Umbral Engrams. You just have to play any activity, you'll get Umbral Engrams to drop, and you can get those things like Breachlight, the 7th Serif weapon, the Gnawing Hunger, Falling Guillotine. As long as you get these main items, that's the biggest and most important part, with a couple other things along the way like exotic raid items, activities, and whatnot. It's up to you what you want to get and what you find valuable. And of course, let me know in the comments down below if there's certain things that I have missed on this list that you really think that I should be getting for next season. Of course, check the comments down below if you want more things to go get. But yeah, my name's Dychronic. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys on the next one.